Greetings, everybody. Greetings. Welcome to Records of Evil. It's been a few weeks off. We've had a few, various issues with people, things going on. But we're back. Life has ways of making things difficult to play sometimes. I think one of those is technically my... No, was it this week's that were my fault? No, it was previous, long ago that I overslept. Right?
Last week it was...
I
think it was.
Yeah, it was six. It was six Jess.
Yeah, six Jess.
Plus,
and
it
plus Jinxx sleeping in, which may have happened again this week. But thankfully, we have the other person too. So
see, that was why I finally got the fourth person, because then if we're down one,
what Docs is known as the other person.
The other person.
I said other one.
The extra person.
It was gonna be the other one.
That one unimportant guy who's just here to fill in.
The one unimportant guy who has the highest charisma.
Yeah, please help us.
They needed someone with charisma.
Despite the fact that I have a -1 charisma, my charisma rolls have been on point for this game.
They have.
Before it was the highest was 1 with me, and I rolled terribly.
The highest is now 4.
Oh damn!
No bards.
So, last time, you had all learned that the Eye of Asmodeus had been bought by a group that was stationed out of Kozakura. A company, well, a member of a company that, do I have his name or their name written down? Probably. Let's find out.
I don't know if I really
It's probably somewhere on these notes. Right, I should have looked at this while we were waiting to see what was going on with Jinxx, I forgot totally I had notes. That's how, when you go 2 weeks, notes? You break your brain a little bit.
Where's the I quest? I auction to Mitsu Denjuro.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Kara-tur.
Denjuro was the company, I believe, because Denjuro was.
It was also the guy's last name, Mitsu Denjuro.
Yeah, Denjuro. It was the Denjuro Corporation. Yeah, there he is. Mitsui Denjuro. Yeah. So Mitsui Denjuro was the one that had purchased the eye. Anyway, so you arrived in the Kara-turin city of Odako after a long boat trip along the south. Effectively, you took the rather than taking the Golden Way, which was the cross country, which you'd have to drive. You took a passenger liner south around Cholt, around Zakara. Around Moltra, and into the Celestial Sea, where you round at Kozakura. You took the south route. The north route would have probably been through, ice and stuff. It's the Great Ice Sea. You didn't want to Titanic it. Probably.
That's for the way back.
That's the way back. Uh-huh. I don't know who your Jack and Rose will be, but we'll find out.
Hey, if we do just go back the other direction, then and we do it in less than 80 days, maybe we can get someone to. Where I was going with this. I just straight up had no idea where I was going with it.
You could probably take the other way around the world, past Os, through the Western Ocean, and through the land bridge between Mastaka and Katashaka, because though their version of Central America and their version of South America are in the same kind of place as ours, because again, Toril is a allegory for Earth, they're not connected.
Yep.
So if all else fails, allegory to Earth. That's what you do for Toril a lot of times. Vaderun's Europe. Yeah, it's they've changed it just enough, but a lot of the places in the world are supposed to is Australia. And I think I was talking with someone about it, that there's probably, like, giant scorpions and carnivorous kangaroos the size of horses,
Well, that's where we gotta go next, then.
Oh no. Oh,
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. If Australia is the most dangerous place on Earth,
That was lightning.
is Oos the most dangerous place on Faerû?
On Turo,
They
probably?
have dragons there.
I mean,
They're pretty
probably.
dragons.
Dragons also, and, giant, like, house-sized lizards, and, crocodilians, and everything is poisonous also for a reason.
Yep, not going there. Nope.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm just assuming it's like it's fantasy Australia. It's so much worse.
Yeah, somehow Fantasy Australia just is more terrifying.
Anyway, so our team has found themselves in Kozakura, and in the city of Odako, you found a place to stay. You know that there is a branch of the Danjuro. I think I called them corporation. We'll just say the corporation now. The Danjuro Corporation. Oh no, it's the Danjuro Trading Company.
Yeah.
The Danjuro Trading Company here. You know their headquarters is in Doju, to the north. It's not a far journey there overall. It's a problem. Like, Kalimport is a major city in a desert country, so the actual cities are very far apart. While in, like, normal countries, the cities would relatively be close,
Yep.
Yeah.
In a desert, it depends on where you can find water, which is fewer and far between. In other places, it's where you can find water, which is much closer together.
Again, well, Kalimport's a port city. It helps. And I think it's near a river. Anyway, so, Odako, you were in a hotel. I believe we had you staying in a place.
Yeah, we're in a hotel, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's where we left off. I don't remember if you'd done anything else. If anybody else remembers you had done something beyond getting
I
off the ship.
set up a meeting with some form of Yakuza that exists.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, bring me with you. This'll be great. I love illegal activities. And I believe Mishka was hunting down some flumps, yeah.
Yes.
See,
Flumps.
Flump is the name of a British marshmallow thing. So that's all I think about when that is said.
Nice.
Wasn't it a Korobokura? Kuru?
It was, but I'm not
Mafia?
going to attempt to pronounce words I don't think I can pronounce.
Yes. That's fun. Korobokuru. Yeah.
Where is this?
It's a little bit of a
Hold
mouthful.
up.
A little bit of a mouthful. Just a little bit of one. Did we finish your meeting with them?
We didn't have the meeting yet,
We didn't have the meeting yet.
because it was scheduled for the next day.
Okay. Again, like, after 2 weeks, I remember certain things, you guys remember certain things, we bring it together, we figure it out, and my notes continue to be awful for this game. Like, next time, well, again, notes have gotten better for other games. I just rely on the old notes for your current games, so it's like they aren't upgraded. I really should upgrade these notes. I'm not gonna.
That's that.
So Thursday wants to come to the meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
No, that is...
Yeah.
for Sul, are you coming too, or,
Yeah. Although that is a very interesting question. Has Faerûn achieved spaceflight? Sorry, has
this
Coral
version of
achieved
Toro
spaceflight?
achieves spaceflight?
Yeah.
I feel like probably not, considering you can't fly airplanes because of dragons.
Yeah, probably not.
The answer is a emphatic sort of.
Oh.
Because you have to remember, spell jamming is a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
And I'm not sure how that would evolve after 2,000 plus years. Because that is a purely magic-based space flight. And mixing it technology probably means... Because again, like, I could say they probably have reached satellite system. Actually, no. You know what? Let's say it this way. Because there is something for it. Rudimentary. Rudimentary spaceflight. Technically speaking, escaping the atmosphere requires very powerful magics, which are very hard to recreate nowadays, but exists. And also because there are technically, like, living things on some of your moons. You know? So connections between them. Yeah. Like one of the moons. It's filled with, like, lycanthropes and animal people.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Is it also made of cheese?
Moon vampires and werewolves. Let's go.
I mean, it's Salune.
Oh yeah.
She summons her Moonimals. Oh my god, I can't believe I remembered that. Moonimals. Anyway, enough of... So there could be some form of... Anyway, we got detracted by chat.
Just for the YouTube VODs, this is based off a chat discussion.
Yeah.
Chat brought us space flight again, and I'm like, I mean, like, there's probably satellites of some kind, too.
So, Vercel and Thursday are going to try and come with
Docs.
Docs to meeting. What's the nicest clothing you two own?
Not with them.
This?
What is Thursday wearing right now?
She's probably wearing some kind of nice trousers, like smart work trousers, because they bought them the first time they went shopping, and then just like a t-shirt.
Ooh.
My clothes are casual but decent.
At least you went on in our jungle clothing.
Comparatively, Docs is standing in front of you in a really nice dress shirt, vest, tie, and slacks. So, it's a little bit of a difference there.
I forgot. Okay, look. As you're going over this, I'm checking my notes here just in case. And sorry to interrupt. DM just got killed by, like, I wrote zeronrolls@deepdark.com for his email.
I like that you made an email address for him.
Oh my god. Alright, yeah, so you have awful clothes. Or not Yakuza meeting clothes, probably.
So we're gonna have to take both of you shopping. Or I go alone.
I like shopping.
I thought these clothes were pretty nice.
They are, but if you disrespect organized criminals, it's a really good way to get cinder blocks used and thrown into the bottom of the sea.
You can give me a history check, but you will do it with disadvantage. Because again,
History check with disadvantage.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
7.
God, you have +6.
It's the bards, Jess.
I love bots.
okay. Give me a second here, just to check something. Okay. You know that you're not sure what it is. You do know that the Kuru gangs have a specific dress code. You're just not sure what it is. So you're not sure what would be the most appropriate attire. Probably just looking formal will get you okay.
This is also a question. How much money does Docs have?
Undisclosed amount that's enough for whatever you need to do most of the time.
Okay.
At this point in time, after the entire, like, early money-making stuff, I've just kind of been like, yeah, sure, you're fine. Also, they
also technically have an established cult who's probably paying us money and donations
and one of them is technically rich. Technically.
Yeah. And we got 10,000 lira worth of loot.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Is there a place?
We basically have if we had resource dots, what would you say we had?
Probably like at least resources 2.
Okay.
You could probably like make checks to call on higher amounts of resources or something.
Okay.
Is there, say, a place, because I had contacted the Elven Mafia in this area, where I could go and withdraw less than legal money that Docs has obtained over the years?
Sure. Again, like, it technically you'd actually be going through the Korobukuru Mafia, because the Elven Mafia doesn't technically have ground in here, in the country. It's sort of like, think the Mafia in... The Mafia, don't hear about them in Japan. Granted, there are other places in the world where each of them has spread into, because the Elven Mafia is out of, like, Evermeet or something.
Okay.
Technically, because that's where they're all... That's, you know, one of the big Elven countries.
Well, we should
Land.
probably get you to something formal to wear.
But through your contacts, you could withdraw some money.
Okay.
Shady.
Did-
I don't see much of a difference in what we're wearing.
How long have you been in this business?
Which one specifically?
The organized crime one.
Normally I just do crime, it's not that organized.
Yeah, I've been in this business for around, give or take, back in the past, I can add that, in around 20 years, so you might want to just listen to me on this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've learned different cultures have different standards of clothing. I mean, when I joined the cult, they wanted me to wear more than just a loincloth, so...
Yeah, that sounds about right. So we'll just, I guess, go and get these to some general formal clothing.
The thing about this place, again, like, this is, like, I feel like the best way to describe this is less westernized version of modern-day Japan. So everything feels like it's, like, less than, like, rather than having, like, the direct correlation, it's sort of like a mixture between, like, a little bit of Western. So the formal clothes range from, like, actual formal kimonos to what could be described as, like, a combination of, like, a sort of, like, kimono slash business suit kind of combo thing. Which is really hard to describe, but, like, just imagine, like, combining the two of those a little bit.
I will let them decide what one they want.
There probably is a few bits of Western fashion, but it's probably, like, on the more expensive side anyway, because it's imported. So, like, fine dress, fine, you know, like, normal-looking business suit. It's overpriced, definitely.
Yeah.
And they have nothing at all tailored for Versailles. They would have to tailor.
Oh no!
I should have saw that one coming.
That does make some sense.
Yeah. So
Again, like, tailored to humanoids of various sizes, yes. The problem is that they don't get a lot of things like lizard folk out here, unfortunately. Or anybody that has tails.
That is fair.
Do they have, like, normal shirts as well as this sort of thing, or is
Oh,
it...
probably. It's a clothing store, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Well, Thursday's gonna go for, like, a kimono-y suit jacket, and then, like, a burgundy shirt underneath with her nice trousers. Because apparently, kimono-y suit jacket things are a thing.
Yes. So you can go,
And I like them.
you can go very kimono-y, if you so wished and desired. Okay. So you purchase some things that are relatively... Oh, that is not the correct one. And also, it's not been updated.
Yeah,
I have
missing
to add a
someone.
docs. I do have to add a docs.
It's alright. Apparently it doesn't matter.
I mean, I haven't updated I haven't updated a command in Nightbot for a while. Well, I can update it now. If I can.
For chat, Dox is a changeling
Yeah. All right.
who appears as a drow most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Dox is a yes.
Everyone on board at the same time.
That can be corrected very quickly, probably. Anyway, so you get some clothes. They're very nice, relatively formal. Should be updated now. Boom.
Hey, changeling bard.
Changeling bard. You got your formal clothes. Are you just heading to the meeting then? Well,
Yeah,
again, relatively formal clothes.
Relatively formal.
Thursday, describe to each of you what kind of clothing you went for. I guess, Doc.
You know, if you want to convince Vercel to wear one, technically an easy way to get around tailoring for a tail is a dress.
Probably like
Yes.
a kimono would probably
I
work. Or a
like
dress.
having my head
Mhm.
and arms,
Mhm.
so I will pass.
Okay. Thursday is pushing a kimono dress at you.
Yeah.
Being like, I'll try it on. You'll look great.
Mhm. I mean, a tail probably could you could probably get away with a tail in a kimono.
Yeah,
Probably.
screw it. That's what she has.
Uh-huh. There we go.
Unless Docs would disapprove.
At this point, he just doesn't want his arms ripped off.
The threat of armor
Wrong
thing
person.
seems to be pretty big.
From Vercel or from the Or
How
from,
tall is Vercel?
like?
How big?
I actually have this. Hold on. Bio. She is 5'11".
Oh, damn.
How tall am I in this game? Did I write that down?
I mean, you're currently an elf, so on the taller side.
Ah, shit, I only wrote down Doc's actual.
But I think drow are a little smaller than your average elf. Underground entire thing. But just a little bit smaller than your average elf, which are a little taller than humans on average. So probably around that.
Thursday is 5'7".
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, you're taller than Doc's actual form.
I think the bigger thing is she's 5'11" and 218 pounds of pretty much pure muscle.
Yeah, yeah, Doc
Yeah,
doesn't want to fuck with that.
It's muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You look fine. It should be fine.
But Thursday has enough weight to convince her.
Mm-hmm. All right, so all of you kind of get yourselves formaled up a little bit, and then you will head for the meeting. It's gonna be at a what could be best described as a combination kind of like spa area. So like it has it seems to be, from what you can tell and from the docs you've heard, the business here is technically run by the group here. So, as I kind of like clear my throat a little bit here, they are the Ogai clan. I don't think I gave you a name before.
No, I should write that down.
So they run the Ogai, like, again, I don't think any of you technically speak the language, and, you know, it's just, and, again, not a lot of translations. So, I mean, how are you making do with finding directions and stuff when, like, the road signs are all in Kozakura? I forget how you were taking care of that problem. Or did you figure that out or not? It's a very good question I just thought of.
Because we walked to the hotel because it wasn't very far. We didn't
No.
get a cab or anything.
No.
Well, presumably, we all have phones, and we would have been given an address, so we could follow just the address number.
That's true. You could just follow a simple address number.
Wave down a cab and then just show them the writing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that can take you there, all right. So, that'll probably work. Like, yeah, here, here's the address we're going to. Please help us. We're speaking like this. It's probably rude.
And then it turns out this guy just speaks perfect common.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Oh no.
But anyway, no. You'll be easily then taken to the location. It's a spa of some kind. It seems to have like your like a hot springs, like a relaxation area, kind of things like that. It feels like a lot like maybe not spa. So
I mean,
it's like
actually,
in and spa kind of thing. Like
with my channel divinity, I can gain proficiency with a tool for an hour at a time. I could, in theory, gain proficiency with Google Maps.
And then forget how to use it completely after an hour.
mm-hmm.
With my
I like
knowledge
that.
of the ages ability.
Oh, I like that.
You very well could. So, a woman will be there to greet you, and she will say something in a language. She is a Bokuru woman, kind of dressed in like what probably is more traditional kimono. And she's gonna kind of come up as like you enter in through the doors. It's very like quaint Japanese, like in hot springs and it's kind of spa area, you know. It just best describes the building in the middle of the city. She'll say some things to you that none of you understand. What is your response?
Staring at dogs.
What? Are they like an elf, a human, dwarf?
Bukuru, which is kind of similar to a dwarf.
Um,
They are technically a subtype of dwarf, so that doesn't say a lot because like
No,
there
that
are
doesn't.
some weird things that are classified as like, you know, this is a gnome, this is a halfling, this is a dwarf, this is an elf, and they're sort of related. Subtypes don't mean a lot.
What do I ask here? I guess in common, or one of the other languages I speak, I could do one of those. But in common, since I don't think this person speaks Undercommon or Elven, I'm just gonna ask if they speak common.
Small bit. This way.
Okay, and we follow.
Mm-hmm.
Or I follow, and the other two can do whatever they want.
Mm.
I'm not their controller.
Yes.
I follow as well.
Yep, I'm not following behind.
Okay. She'll lead you inside to where the kind of main area of the like hotel kind of entrance is, and a like sharply you'll notice there is a couple of like sharply less dressed like business kimono korobukuru in the area. Some of the maybe the Ogai clan, you're not sure. Anyway, one of them that seems to be dressed more in like form or kimono attire, a man, will come up to you and be like, "I was told you speak common, yes?
Yeah. Yes.
What brings you here to Ogai Inn and Spa.
We had arranged a meeting with someone for hopefully an exchange of information.
Ah, you wish to speak with the head of the clan?
If it is possible, yes.
I will contact. Please wait. Okay. All right. Yeah, you'll be left to wait for a little bit before the man will come back, accompanied by 2 more of those like business kimono, tough-looking gangsters, sunglasses on. You notice that like they have short kind of beards that are like kind of well kept. You notice that all of them have like crazy mustaches.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. That are kind of like done in different ways. It's like follow me. Oh, God, that was so bad. It was such a bad accent I did. For just a second. Gensuki Ogai. We'll see you shortly.
Okay.
You'll be led towards a kind of like a back building. So you'll be kind of led outside into kind of like a open air kind of porch side, kind of walk around the outsides of the building, where you'll see a number of various people. It seems that Korobukuru are all like the workers here. It seems to be specifically they own and operate the place. But you'll see guests which vary from some Korobukuru, a few humans, a few other individuals that seem a little unusual, like a woman with like a kind of almost pale blue skin.
Do I see any drow?
No.
Okay.
You probably see no one that could be described as maybe like even a foreigner.
Okay.
So. Eventually, though, you'll be led to one of the back buildings where you'll be led inside to a large kind of like meeting room. They'll kind of do one of the sliding doors where you'll see like the one that's been leading you will kind of like do like a bow down as the kind of guards that have been with you will kind of join rows of guards that are on either side kind of sitting down like gangsters. The Ogai clan is definitely in full force here, as you'll see much older Korobukuru is kind of in the back. You'll see that he is dressed much more loosely and kind of lounging about on like a seat. He has this like what looks to be like a gourd that he's drinking out of.
Mm.
As he's kind of got like, you notice that he's got a very large, elaborate mustache, and his like he's wearing more of a traditional kimono, except like the one sleeve is off, and he's like showing off like he's also got like epic tattoos and stuff all over his arms.
Ooh, fancy.
He just seems to be drinking out like he's like, he's gonna say something, like "Oi," in like a very deep voice. So I'm just gonna have him to be translated, but use his voice. He's speaking in Kozakura and getting translated, but I'll use his voice, just to let you know that's what I'm doing. Oi, are you the Western folks that are here to meet with me?
We are, yes.
Those pansy pointy ears from the West said that you were all right in their book. So what brings you to my neck of the woods?
What's the object we're looking for actually called?
The Eye of Asmodeus, it's referred to as.
We have been tracking an item down called the Eye of Asmodeus, and it appears to have been auctioned here in this country. I gotta look at the notes because I don't remember half this shit. Where's it at? Oh, it was auctioned to Matsui Dejuro? How you would
Danjuro.
say that?
Danjuro.
Danjuro.
Yes.
Around 800 years ago. We need to know if that family still exists, or if they have unfortunately passed.
The Dangeros. They are still around. You not see some buildings with their names blazoned on it? The Orgai clan has long since done their dirty work, and we have prospered for it. So you seek a trinket or bauble they collected from the West long ago. Pah! I care not of your need for such items, but a deal could be made for some assistance in finding out about it.
What kind of deal would you have in mind?
You are friends with the Westerners, no?
I am.
For too long, many of the clans have been reduced to staying within our countries. Within Kozakura, Wa. Perhaps you could assist us in finding a way to your world, your city. Your elven friends have stakes in many places. What city do you hail from?
What city? Was it, Neverwinter?
You technically come from... You
Or-
technically
oh,
come from
yeah, he.
Neverwinter, but you know the rest of them come from Calimport, so it's up to you which one you want to use.
We operate out of Calimport.
Trade hub to the southwest. People speak of its degeneracy. A place of no honor. Perhaps some honor could be brought to them.
It is a place of no honor, yes, but it is a place of many secrets. And in the West, secrets are a form of currency that can get you a very long way.
I hear there is a small kara-tur district in Calimport. You arrange with your elven friends for a small shop. Perhaps one that a few of my friends can come into and run. And we can talk.
Sounds agreeable.
Then I can ask my old friends in Danjuro if they know of an eye. You come back in 2 days. We shall talk. Or, if you wish, you can stay at the fine establishment here. See how true honor is shown to our guests and possible business partners.
I have to confer with these two what they want to do about that. Would you rather stay here or in the hotel?
I mean, I like the spa a lot,
Nice and humid here.
True. But I don't know if it's a wise decision to stay here.
Can I insight check to see if this man is like lying about things or plotting something?
Sure.
Insight check. Where's insight? 18.
Okay. It's kind of a little hard to tell because he is speaking another language. But
Yeah.
from the tone of his voice and stuff, he seems quite stern, and you do not detect any kind of, like, waverings in his voice. When he says things, he's quite, like, just straight up about it, makes a statement, and sticks with it.
We will stay here.
Find them room. The man who's been also the one translating will kind of give a bow and will lead you away. Why don't we take our first break here?
Okay.
As we're going
Sounds
through a
good.
room. And then we'll come back in a little bit. If you need to use a restroom, snack break, drink break, anything like that, go ahead and do it while we're on break here. We'll be back in a little bit as we will kind of continue diving into this here, while they're kind of dealing with some kind of dwarven-ish gangsters in Toral's version of Asia. So, see you in a bit, folks. See you in a bit.
S means nothing in this name. You just made it up.
Hi, welcome back. As we're talking about like names,
We're naming babies.
apparently.
I'm coming up on my fourth Twitch baby for Tantus. So that's
What?
I'm naming my
It's a
backup
third.
character for
I
when
don't know.
Tantus gets tired of having a bard.
I'm never tired of having a bard. I like bards.
anyway,
I
irrelevant. Let's get back to game.
yeah. So, you're enjoying your time for a couple of days at the Inn/Hot Springs. You can have some traditional Kozakuran meals. You can enjoy the hot springs, the spa. Is there anything in particular you're doing though for these days? You're just kind of going with the flow.
Do I have contacts in Callanport, or is that not my thing?
You have some contacts in Callanport because the Elven Mafia has a family in Callanport,
Mm-hmm.
so you could
And I know
contact.
them.
Yes, and your friends know them because they had the option of becoming mistresses, and just never got back to them. Well, that's awesome. How friendly would they be now? You never got back to them about the entire idea of being mistresses.
Fuzzy just kind of brushed over the mistresses bit and just like texts them occasionally. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she's polite and just is like, hey, how's the mafia business? Hope you're well.
Uh-huh.
I might be able to call in a favor, get these people what they want. But,
That would be pretty useful.
alright, I guess I'll use... Oh god, where's my character sheet? There it is. I contact Elven Mafia in Callanport.
Okay. Alright. Hello. What
Oh,
is
no.
it I can do for you? For the
I
family.
forgot.
I was just enjoying my greenery here. Also, do you know what time of day it is?
Yeah, we're in a bit of a predicament here.
I've heard
may
from
need to-
from my brothers up north. You are a good friend of the family's. So perhaps we can help you out with some things.
I may need to
the
call in
future-
a favor. I know I'm running a little low on those these days, but I should still have a few banked up.
Alright. What kind of
I'm gonna
favor would you
I'm gonna
want?
I'm gonna explain the situation to him.
Alright. That's an interesting problem you've got there. Perhaps we could be of assistance to you.
What would you need from me in return?
That's a good question. Perhaps a favor in the future.
Sounds reasonable.
Our good friends from the East just want to have a couple of their friends in the city. Is that what it sounds like?
That's what it sounds like to me. Yes.
And having them on our good side would not be a problem for us. Our influence within the city is not as great as it used to be, and perhaps having a few more friends in low places would not be much of a trouble. I'll see what I can do for a business they're looking for.
Thank you.
No, thank you for your continued support of the family. My Don voice just isn't great.
Oh, I'm gonna have to slit someone's throat again, aren't I?
Probably.
Messy
Come to me
business.
the day of my daughter's wedding.
I think we made that clip last time. I think I got invited to a wedding last time.
Yes.
You did.
Forgot about that.
You did get invited to a wedding last time.
I should probably go to that.
Hi, Damien. Welcome back. Okay.
You guys are costing me a lot of favors. I better be worth it.
So, yeah, you have relative positive reinforcement about what you were being asked about. So theoretically, you'll be able to get some assistance here. Is that the information you are bringing forth to the, I was blanking out on the head of the Yakuza family.
Oh god, I don't think we got a name for the guy.
Yeah, well, you got his name. It was, Gensuke Oga.
Too many tabs. Oh, that guy. Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will relay the information back to him.
Okay. Well, that seems positive. I hope for your sake that it remains positive.
I'm sure it will.
I've talked with the members of the Danjuro family. It does seem indeed that one Mitsui brought home a number of items long ago. They are unsure if it is in his residence within Dojo, or he did have another house on Hinomoto, one within the Fukobi forest, hidden away. They would be willing to perhaps sell such an item at a high price.
Thank you. I will talk it over with the others.
feel free to stay this evening. But then, I'm sure you have your own businesses to attend to.
Thank you. Oh, Jinxx sent a message.
Ah, what's the message?
A phone died.
Ah,
And then some rip emails.
okay. I don't know what that means in this case.
Nope.
For not showing up, I guess?
I think it probably our alarm didn't go off.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that one makes sense.
Uh-huh.
That's happened to me once. Probably just once. I generally charge my phone at night, so...
I mean, I actually don't charge my phone at night. But usually I have it charging beforehand, so I don't have to worry about it. So. Alright, so yeah, you can stay the rest of the night. And then figure out what you're doing tomorrow. What is your overall plan?
Well, I'm gonna relay the information back to these two, that they're willing to sell us the thing for an undisclosed amount of money.
Well, price can obviously be discussed afterwards.
Well,
Do you think it's within our price range at all, or?
Worst case, we can do some work for them. I'm not against getting my hands dirty.
I mean, I don't know how adverse you are from stealing from the Yakuza.
You wouldn't be stealing from the Yakuza, you'd be stealing... Well, you could steal from the Yakuza. That's for different reasons. This is a corporation that theoretically has what it has. And they've given you two locations. Either it's within the household, the Dandro household in the capital, which they haven't confirmed, because apparently they haven't found it yet. But their records say they should have it, is what's kind of going on. Or it's on
Fukobi Forest, or on Hanmoto Island in Fukobi Forest.
Yes, which is on Hinamoto is one of the islands to the south. So you would have to take some kind of boat from Odako to there. Because remember, just like Japan, both Kozakura and Wa are archipelagos. It's just they technically could be combined, except they've split to two different countries. Ooh.
Fancy.
I know. That's why, like, hey, look, it's not technically Japan, everybody. They split into two different countries. And we're like, Toral, we know what you're doing.
I mean, to be fair, the whole point of Toral, the whole point of Toral is that it was like, it is supposed to be alternate Earth. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Earth that had a split off from us in a different timeline.
There's some crazy shit going on about Toral. Like, some of the stuff is just weird too. But that's an entirely different, like with weird planar overlays, and we're not getting into that. it explains like some of like weird shit that happens there. Anyway, so yeah, what is your plan? Again, like you don't know which of the locations it's at. Either, again, like you're not sure who or what is at either of these places either. You don't know a lot about either of them. So that's a good answer to any kind of questions you might have. You don't know a lot about either of these places. So maybe learning about them might help you.
I think we should maybe set up a little base of operations and see what we can learn before we decide on either stealing it or negotiating a price.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, that wedding.
So, would your plan to be head to Doju right now? Because that's where the the Danjiro Trading Company's corporate headquarters is, and where the traditional home of the Danjiro family is.
I suppose it would be smart to go there first, but it's gonna depend on if I get outvoted by the other two or not.
What are the options?
Okay, you know of from the company, from the contact within the company, because effectively what you're thinking is because the Ogai clan, from what you've heard, does shady stuff for the Dandro company. So they took their contact. Their contact probably isn't necessarily the most highest ranking person, and effectively is not probably someone in charge that could be like, yeah, have this eye. They're like, yeah, look, if an artifact like that is back within the family's holding, because it's a corporate person, not a family member, or maybe a lesser family member. Here's two locations that Mitsui, probably one of their more famous members, who spread to the west with his trading, would have taken stuff. Most likely, the family would trade it for a large amount of money. That's the information you got from the contact. I'll tell you that I'll give you that you could find out from the Ogai that it was a member of the Dandro family, but it was like a branch family and just someone in like middle corporate. It is he is the contact with the Ogai clan when it is needed, but Ogai clan hasn't been needed for some time. Effectively, things have been relatively on the up and up, and the Ogai clan seems stable from what you gathered from the initial connections. Probably the Ogai clan did a lot more business for them back in the day, kind of thing. Nowadays, both have their own things a lot, but there's still that connection. So you might be able to use their connection in the company, but it's someone who's middle management, lesser part of the family, kind of thing. Not very helpful overall. His information gave you the two locations. The main house, or there was like a vacation home within Fokobi Forest. You can easily check a map. There's only one major city on Hinamoto, and that's Itsuhachi. There are a couple of small villages. The forest is still relatively untouched. It did shrink a little bit. It's mostly nature preserve at this point in time. A few of the housing in there is still private, as some people did have housing in that area and stuff. It remained private. The Kozakura did not take it away from them, but like they don't have options to expand their land and stuff. So, the housing is still owned by the family. Whether it's used or not, you don't have information. Like, that was another place he stored stuff. So that's the kind of information you've got right now. I think that's everything. All the details kind of laid out.
Well, I'm willing to set up the base of operations. Just digging.
Yeah, that seems wise.
So, you're thinking of getting information. That's great. Do you want to try to get it from the city here? Remember, there is a branch of the company here. More than likely, the person that the Ogai clan has connections with is at the branch here. Or you could go to Joju, which is the main company, where the main building of the trading company is.
I'm down to try here first, since we're already here, and then...
We could try here.
Okay.
I don't see a problem in that.
What's your plan to get information, then, about the family? And they're at least two estates. They may have more. Those are the two that would most likely have the item you're looking for.
Are we out of the that spa at this point?
I'm gonna say this is like your last night, so you would have to either move back to like the hotel you were staying at before, which probably Mishka's still staying at.
Can I?
Because she wandered off on a flump hunt.
keep an eye out
She's like,
And
this is
see if-
important. I'll be back.
and see if we're specifically being watched.
Ooh. You can give me, like, I guess, a investigation check.
Investigation.
Yeah.
18.
You take a look around. You don't find anything that screams being watched. Again,
Okay.
like, the problem is that there is some modern technology that you probably have heard about, but you don't know as much about. Like, even with a couple of years here.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the difference between living your entire life and being like, oh yeah, there could be like a bug here, and being like, there are things that can hear you, and you're like, you kind of know about them, but like, it's still not great for you, you know, so you wouldn't be able to identify where they would be. And like, pretty much all of you have like at least given a good idea that, you know, what you see in a movie or a TV isn't real, or isn't as real as it could be. I don't know how much of that you guys would realize.
Well, I more meant if people specifically are like watching us.
No
Okay.
person is watching you. Whether or not there's something else to watch you, technological related, no.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, I feel like at a very high service hotel, which this is, there are people that, in quotation, watch you, but you don't feel like it's above and beyond what a normal hotel would
yeah.
do.
Okay.
A high service hotel. The problem is you don't know if that links back to the crime family at all, because they are connected, you know. There definitely is like a little bit of like, well, you know, they're coming in, like, finding out if you need anything. It's like the meal is brought to your room kind of thing, you know. Very stuff like that, you know. So.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll spend the last night here and then go back to the normal hotel.
Okay. So, you're back at the normal hotel. What is your plan to gather information? As I'm back to playing with the magnet, so it's going to be noisy.
First off, most important business, has Mishka found a flump to befriend?
She's still out on flump hunting adventures.
Okay.
She perhaps won't return until next week.
Alright, so what do you guys want to do?
Oh, well.
I mean, we're just going to search an estate. We could, the one in Doju could be, closer, but the one in Fukopi Forest is probably not as well looked after, and may have. I find it surprising that if it's in the estate in Doju, that people don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
So do we want to just steal it, or maybe try and pay for it, or work out a deal?
And again, like, the person you talked that gave you the information, you know, you're not sure which it is, and so it sounds like whoever is within the company doesn't have 100% answer to you, you know.
It still seems odd to me that something in a large city, they wouldn't be able to find it real fast.
Think about a large old estate with probably lots of things stored.
Storage. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If they do not have it on display, it's probably stored
Yeah.
away somewhere. It's like, and you have to think about a guy who went to auction houses across the world buying stuff. How much of it does he actually have on display?
Yeah, that's the
He
thing.
probably cycles it, but I mean that was 800 years ago, so stuff gets buried.
Yeah.
I have
And
a
that's-
feeling that we only get one chance at stealing something like this. And if it's
True.
not at the vacation house, they may up security at the others.
If we try and steal
And-
it, they know we're trying to steal something, but if we ask for an audience and try and pay for it and we can't and we have to steal it, they're gonna know it's us.
Yeah.
Also, if we try to steal it, fail, and then ask to pay for it, they're also going to know it was us.
Well, and you're gonna see Docs just, we gotta find it on a character sheet, become the other form, Luna. They don't know this form exists.
Oh. But it is true, you can look like anyone. I think. Is that how that works?
Well, it's a little weird. If I'm trying to copy someone's appearance, I need a little
Oh,
bit
wait.
to observe them
Oh,
and
I'm
hear
an
their
idiot.
voice. But if I want to fabricate my own, I need a couple of days, because this one is a complete fabrication. The other is an actual person who's been dead about, I don't know, a couple thousand, however long I've lived before coming here.
We could potentially maybe watch the house. Maybe someone disappears for a couple of days and then you, as someone else, walks in.
Maybe, but I also don't speak their language.
Oh, yeah, that's an issue.
So,
So I just realized something, and I'm really dumb for it.
Uh-huh.
I don't learn comprehend languages as a cleric, but I do learn tongues.
oh, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I could have just cast it on Docs.
How long does tongues last?
An hour.
Okay, well,
I have 2 casts. Yeah, 2 casts.
that could work. I suppose that could work.
We could also just offer them work rather than money, because I have
That's
a feeling
also
that they're gonna.
It's also an option. We could just like offer to work for them, but that may put us in contact with something I was warned about. I gotta look at the fucking name because it's been 2 weeks. Where are my notes? About the 5 deadly shadows. That could put us in contact with them, and I was warned about them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they sound like a fun time.
The 5 deadly who?
5 deadly shadows.
Why are there shadows, and why would that put us in contact with them?
Well, they're a criminal
Is there any kind-
organization.
Ah,
If we start stealing, doing criminal things, they may have an issue with that.
You learn that, like, they are the premier criminal organization in Kozakura, but they're also much more secretive. Like, it's like the difference between, like, Yakuza and, like, secret criminal society. But since you have the criminal connections, you know about them. What you don't know much about them. You know that they are
No.
an ancient group that usually has 5 leaders, the Deadly Shadows themselves, that are like titles that are almost either inherited or taken by like replacements, probably through violence and assassination. And they tend not to be nice people. You do, again, I'll tell you, you do know, just to give you an option, you do have the name of the person that is the Ogai clan's contact, because they would have given you at least the basic information, because he's in with the Danjuro, since you were looking into them. Matabe Suda.
Okay.
And just for everybody out there that's noting, yes, they probably say their names in the traditional Japanese manner, but I am not doing that just to not like confuse these people. You know, I do that in Legacies because it's actual modern day Japan, and I like confusing them. I'm keeping it a little less confusing here. So, yes, you do have Matabe.
I need to look at something real fast. Don't post that in chat, thank you.
So, yep.
Well, if it does, I need to actually look how much this lasts. Do I have anything that lasts longer?
Horf.
No. Well, if it does come down to having to steal it, and I pull out a little bit of fleece and just rub it on my hand and cast a major image of, I don't know, something, like anything on the wall, I could make it appear it's still there for some time.
That would be
useful.
So good major image can be helpful.
But it's only 10 minutes, so it would have to be very fast.
Well,
on the positive, and on the positive side, I could do something along the lines of that to help us get by things. But make us not unable to be detected by divination magic. So
I don't know if they'll be using magic. It could help.
I'm good at stealing shit.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where my trades go.
Of course I can... Oh no, you don't know about that. I can't... Do I tell you that I could read minds? Because you don't know I can do that yet.
Yeah, I don't think you did say
No,
that.
you don't know I can do that, so I'm not going to say that. I can put people to sleep, charm them, send them into a hideous fit of laughter.
Ooh.
All of these are... I mean, I could do it on you right now if you'd like. Do you want to hear
no.
a joke?
No.
I have a really good pun if you'd like to hear it.
I stick my fingers in my
Wait
ears.
a second. I figured out a significantly easier way to do this.
One day I'll get to use hideous laughter. I mean, my ultimate goal is to kill something with vicious mockery.
Like, Chuck!
I just realized I have this.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be very helpful, yeah.
You know what? Yeah.
You could just go outside the building and see if it's there.
Oh, that'd be pretty
You know
helpful.
what? Yeah, I
Yeah.
like.
Makes sense.
And we already have part of the object, and we know what it looks like, and we've seen the object before, which is also like very helpful.
It is incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Theoretically, as long as there's not magic that would be obscuring it.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You guys want to go
the
like?
spell I just put, the spell I put up before it is exactly the spell you would use to do that. But
You guys want to go climb a tree outside someone's estate building?
sure.
I'm not really a climber.
I'll get you up there. You'll be fine.
Which estate are we going to then?
I'd say go to the closer one.
You know, we do so little in this game that I kind of forgot that spells exist.
Look, most of your time you're just talking to people or making wheeling and dealing or just traveling places. There's a lot less like actually like doing magical or violent things and like they're I sometimes give you opportunities to do that, and like 95% of the time, you've avoided it anyway.
Yeah, we're just like, it's gonna get us in trouble.
I
Yeah.
mean,
We're still little babies.
I've got a few things that could be bad if I use them on people,
Uh-huh.
like shatter.
Because then you can totally, like,
That
man...
could liquefy a man.
Hell yeah.
Shatter, I can't take it seriously just because of the one line that I will always remember, because it used to be shatter target object. And then you could maybe stun the person that was holding an object. And it was like, it's like, well, you didn't stun him, but you shattered his pants.
And as you shattered his pants, he shattered his pants.
I mean, no, it was just he was an angry man that was now naked beating at the person that cast it, but still. It was a very naked man. Anyway, so yeah, are you gonna head to Doju?
I suppose that makes the most sense. It's closer.
Since I only need to know what the object is, and since I'd rather it be closer to that than the other piece, I'm actually going to leave the other piece in the hotel. Preferably with Jinxx.
Who's swamp hunting? I also will be right back.
She'll maintain the hotel for a possibility of going to Hinomoto. I can say that after she's done getting the flump, maybe she can arrange a boat to possibly go there. If you need to. We'll look into it.
Okay.
Did Momo run off? Did I hear,
Yeah, just
go back?
quickly.
We could take our break now. It's about the time I was going to take it.
Yeah.
And then,
And then go sit in a tree and locate object.
yes. So, drink, snack, bathroom break, anything you need like that. We're going to take our second break here. We'll be back in a little bit for our last about 45 minutes. So, see you in a second, folks. Alright, we're back for the last little bit here. Alright. So, what's the plan? You're planning on heading to, Doju, and, get outside the estate and attempting the, locate object.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's within 1,000 feet of you. It should hopefully work.
Mm-hmm.
But at least tell us if it's in there or not.
Mm-hmm.
Then we
Alright.
can work.
And I can cast it up to no. So I can cast it up to 5 times. So I can just go around each edge of the estate and cast it.
Okay. It won't be a very long trip to get to Doju. You can probably arrange for to take the train to Doju. Yes. Are you going to find a place to stay when in Doju?
I mean, take a train there, do a couple scans, take the train back. Don't really need to stay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds reasonable.
Alright. You don't know where the estate is.
Yeah, you know, that would have been nice to probably ask.
Okay. We at least realize that before we leave, right?
You have the very basics of information about either of these locations. That they exist. You do not know location. I mean, you could probably attempt to look up information online. But again, it's technically a private residence, so... And unfortunately, probably most of the names and addresses are in Kozakuran, meaning you don't speak the language or read the language. Then again, you saw that you had tongues, right?
Tongues cannot read. It's merely speech. You understand speech, and when you speak, they understand.
And that's why comprehend languages is still useful, because it allows for
Yes.
reading.
But we can just put the words into Google and get them to say it out loud, and then we'll
It's like going to a foreign language version of Google. You know.
Oh.
It's not always helpful. I mean, like, you could probably, if you want to, like, give me intelligence, we'll say, to see how well you can figure this out using their system. You might be able to do it.
Someone else has to do it. I ain't gonna be me.
I got a 5. Oh, I gotta find my thing.
I
mean,
do have
I
an
have a
idea.
flat 10 in intelligence, so...
Oh.
All right.
That's a save.
That's a save.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Shit.
Just a straight
Roll.
check.
About to say, why is your intelligence 5 as a rogue?
Yeah, I forgot that there were saving throws on this sheet, apparently.
I mean, I have an idea, but like, it involves a little work.
I say Vasella feels is higher. Please feel free to.
I mean, I can at least roll.
Yeah. You can at least check. 12. 15.
Doc's
Okay.
not a smart person.
Oh, I did it.
You did get an 18. Okay. Yeah, you're able to find, you think is the location within Doji. So that's at least something you can take care of. If you're, like, using mapping, it does seem to be a very large estate.
Okay.
It does seem to be in the area of a pretty dense neighborhood, though, is the thing.
How large?
Let's see here. Like, it pretty large? Like, I can't, it's hard to describe the largeness of it because I can only, like, you think that if your spell would work, it would most likely, you could cover it. Probably not 100%, but most of the way. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So, just have to,
So,
like,
probably only a little bit more than, like, 2,000, like, maybe, like, it's more than 2,000 by 2,000 area, feet. So they have grounds, though, you know? They actually have grounds. So it's probably this estate has existed for many, many generations, and then, like, society grew up around it. Like you find in, you know, a lot of actual traditional, like, Japan. You'll find, like, actual estates in the middle of, like, more modern communities in, like, Tokyo and stuff. Because they were there from the beginning, or for a long time. They do exist. And you're effectively going to their version of Tokyo. You know what? I feel it's more Kyoto-y. More Kyoto-y. I'll give it.
It's fair. Okay.
So, there may be some trees outside of it, but the thing is, they might be on someone's property. They're probably very similar to, like, you're going to assume that it's very similar to what you saw at the Ogai clan's estate, where they had the hotel and stuff, and the estate connected to it. There was a wall around it. Granted, the wall is only, like, maybe, like, 7-8 feet tall, you know, but enough of a wall to separate it out from the rest of the places very often. And there are sometimes buildings next to that wall. You know, it's a grounds with some, like, trees and some nature in the middle of a thing. So you're assuming it's probably going to be very similar formatted to that, only larger because probably, like, the Danjiro Trading Company seems to be one of the major corporations here in Kozakura, or major companies. I don't know if they could call them corporate, technically. Again, Vricel should be able to mostly cover the estate with her spell. probably not 100%, but thinking in like the core of the building or the area, you're not sure if it would be in that area anyway. If it's in storage, it would probably be in like more of an outlier anyway.
Yeah.
It's just
normally there's like a courtyard or something more towards the center.
Yeah.
At worst, it'd be in a basement, underneath the courtyard. That'd be the worst, but...
Yes. Again, like, also, like, it's just trying to use the spell from the outside is not impossible. It's just that, like, you're not going to be very well hidden when you're doing the spell. Even depending on how busy it is at night will depend on if someone might notice you or not, though, too.
Yeah, and that's part of the idea of climbing a tree is so you don't have to go through those, like... Because, it's got that thing of, like, oh, certain amounts of things will block it, I think.
I think also it's supposed to be like, I'm trying to say like, because it is in the middle of a city, those trees are possibly going to be in someone's yard.
Oh, okay. Only lead blocks this spell. Cool. The spell can't look at an object if it's behind any thickness of lead. So it doesn't have the same restriction of stone and wood that other ones have.
If you wanted to, I'm going to give you this. You could talk to your contact and see if maybe perhaps they would have things like lead-lined vaults and stuff.
That's a very good point.
Because he would probably know about the estate.
Look,
he might know about both estates.
We've got to be idiots, you know?
Uh-huh. I feel like I needed Zir in here to be like your guide, but you left him in Kalimport to be like...
He's very good at
babysit the Ifrit, or the Ifrits, or whatever.
The Earness, yeah, the babysit the Earness.
Earness, that's the word.
But, like, I feel like you need him on, like, speakerphone to be, like, give you advice or something sometimes. Because the DM wants to, like, shout at you, like, hey, here's a good idea! Like, here's just something you could do that would be helpful.
I mean, here's the thing.
I'm much more cognizant for the second game, okay?
No.
Y'all just dragged Docs and didn't explain anything to him, so he doesn't know what you people can do.
Mm-hmm.
You've never explained anything.
I mentioned it, but I mentioned the detection, look at object, but...
Well, you mentioned that, but, like, what your people can do. No one's ever mentioned that to him.
I mean, you technically, back in Kalimport, you left a sitcom, 2 Earnesses and an imp.
Yep.
Yep.
Probably check back in with her. Make sure she's alright.
She might have broken the couch some more.
I mean, it was already great sorted. Very effectively. No, but I'll give you, like, if you want to know more about the estate and have someone who might be willing to give you information for not as much in money as buying the thing. You have criminal dude who would give you information for money.
I'm gonna leave that to Thursday, and I'm just gonna take a walk to this place.
Okay, so
in daytime.
So Doju. All right. So from your hotel, you take a walk. It's a little far. I'm assuming you got a hotel relatively close to it.
Probably
the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
The neighborhood is probably quainter than like, it's a lot less businesses. There's just a lot of small, like, probably mom and pop shops in this area, a few larger houses and stuff like that. Most of them seem to be that kind of mixture of east and west that a lot of these buildings kind of do, like some influence of like the suburbia, like influence of like the Sword Coast kind of things, and like, favored. But then again, it's got a lot of that traditional Kozakuran built into it, still. There are a few larger houses, and especially in the area you're in now, has a few more prominent families left in it. And the Danjuro family certainly is prominent. The walls are a little taller than what you saw back with the Ogai clans. They're about 10 feet tall. You'll notice that the tops of them, they're not necessarily like got anything that says keep out, but definitely you can see at the main gate, there's a security camera, very noticeably at the main gate, pointed outside of it. That's the first thing you do notice. You will also notice that there does seem to be like some people in the grounds, like a couple of guards in the grounds that are walking through the gates, because it is like an actual like, you know, one of those double gates. So it's got like, you know, the metal bars and stuff, you know, so it can be open to let people in. Well, no, I'll say like it's probably mostly covered over with just like vision kind of area in the center where you can kind of look in. Where it looks like they could be covered over. So you can, like, look in on the estate a little bit from here, but probably, like, at night they would close it up or something.
Is there, like, a guard posted anywhere? What looks like a guard?
You can probably see some people walking. You know, outside the gates, no.
Outside the gates, no.
But, like, as I said, like, it's gates, but, like, now that I'm kind of like trying to envision effectively what it would be, they're like completely metal, except like in the center from on either side, because it's like opens in the middle. There's that kind of like area that like can slide in, that are currently open, so you can see between like bars and look in, you know, to who would be inside a little bit. They probably keep those open during the day, just because, you know, they're polite. Maybe just close them up at night. Also, they probably... The estate probably could have repelled invaders back in the day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it definitely has a lot of tradition built into it. The building itself seems almost like a small castle in the center. So it is much more impressive. About 4 stories. You can see that they have their own personal pagoda in the back, too. And a much, like, you can probably see, like, if you're, like, back away from the walls a little bit, you can see a little bit of a third building that seems to go up about 3 stories. That seems a little bit much of a smaller building, but is kind of in the back. If there are a couple other smaller buildings, from your angle, you cannot see them. Like, 1 or 2-story buildings you could not see on the property.
2 questions. 1, does detect thought require a shared language? Because it doesn't say it does.
It does not, because you're detecting thoughts. It's like telepathy. You're reading kind of what a mind and translating it. I do not think it does, actually.
I can post it in the chat real fast. It doesn't say it does. It's a very long one. And it just says they need to have at least an intelligence of 3 and speak a language. Or an intelligence of 4 and speak a language.
I think it's like you can translate the thoughts of them.
Okay.
It doesn't mention that language is required, so like a good example, like I just looked it up here for some like stuff that people talked about, and like modifying memory specifically says you have to know the language. So it's assumed if you use other sources within it that they would mention if a language is required.
Do I see any like workers on the ground?
Not from your angle, unless you'd actually go up to the door. Like, you're kind of, like, walking by on the street by the front door. Because, again, like, there's an actual street that goes by the door, you know? There's, like, a little bit of a sidewalk. That's probably outside of the walls. Not much of one. It looks like most people, like, it's like probably like a 1-vehicle street in front here. Maybe 1.5 vehicle, we'll say. So, like, you know, one could, like, it's really made for, like, 1 vehicle to pass through, but if really they could pass by each other if they needed to. It's a kind of back street more than anything that it's off of. It seems like, strangely, that you think they'd have a major street that would lead into their estate, but...
So, this is all disguised as Luna. I never changed back.
Yeah.
I am going to go up to the gates and look in.
Okay. You can definitely see that the camera will kind of pan towards you. Then. Yeah, you can see that there seems to be a number of guards on patrol. There actually seems to be a number of gardeners, too. Elderly gardeners doing their job. One of them seems a little younger. Maybe, like, one of the new gardeners that's learning from the elders.
What side is the camera
There are actually two, one on either side.
Two on either side.
One is turned towards you. Like, you can notice that both cameras seem to be able to pan on either side. One of them seems to be looking right in the gate, and one of them seems to be looking right outside the gate.
Now, do I do what I'm thinking I want to do? That's the question.
Whether or not there are cameras in other areas of the grounds, you can probably assume that there are. Whether or not you can find them, those might be hidden. These definitely seem to be here to tell the public that this place is watched, you know?
Would these cameras recognize spellcasting? Would anyone in this time even recognize what spellcasting looks like?
Spellcasting exists. Magic still exists, and, like, it's not gone. The fact is, like, we've talked about this before, it's like it's just come kind of a little second fiddle.
Okay.
Things like healing magic is oftentimes a hospital will have healing magic. It's just that they probably only have, like, one person that can use it. So it's in case of, like, super emergencies, you know? You have, like, emergency room cleric on duty, you know? It's like arcane magic has become something specifically to special colleges. It's not like magic has disappeared, it's just been technology's often outshined it, so it's become like a second fiddle in a lot of places. And there are, again, like, there are still, like early on, there are minor magic items that are actually, like, you know, as seen on TV items, but they're minor magic items people use and sell. So there is an actual, like, use for it. Like, I think one of the early sessions we had, like, a magic item which will clean a room. You know, it prestidigitates an entire room. It's cheap ass. You know, it's like, again, like one of those, like, cheap ass, like, common magic items you can get now. So it's because it's so minor, but so, like, magic exists. It's just, like, weirdly overweight. So, like, there could definitely be magic at play here too. You don't know a lot about kara-tur magic, though. You know that it is its own branch of the magical spectrum. That's something you can definitely say as a magic user. And there are some similar spells, but they also have some of their own unique spells. And I'll just give it to you as something. You do know that they have their own branch of stuff with, like, a kind of spirit magic. You don't know a lot about it. You know of it.
Do I just go for it? I'm gonna eye up one of the guards. Like, just, like, glance at one of the guards. And, like, look like I'm gonna walk away. And then, what's the range on this? Is there a range on this? 30 feet. Is there one within 30 feet of me?
No. I'm gonna say, because it is a pretty large estate, they're probably back a little bit, more than 30 feet from the wall.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna walk away then.
Yeah.
Damn, if there was one within 30 feet, I had a good plan.
Like, granted, because the camera's on you, you can guess that if you stayed around, someone would probably approach, but then they'd be addressing you directly.
Yeah.
Okay. The camera will kind of follow you for a little bit before it'll pan back to the front of the gate after you leave. I mean, you are definitely a foreigner that was looking in on there, so, I mean, like, they could probably excuse that to a bit to maybe tourist.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else? It does seem like there is... The front and the back of the estate have roads. The back road to the estate is actually a much more major road, but they don't have you don't have a very they have a small exit on that side, which just seems to be sort of like a back door that if you would walk around the estate, you could see that it is much more sealed off, you know. But it is on a major road. A vehicle definitely couldn't come in and out of that. The vehicle has to come in on the smaller road, which is on the front of the estate, which is kind of reverse of what you think. And there are buildings to either side of the estate. If you wanted to look for a tree to climb up one, yes, one of the small houses next to the place has a freaking, you know, tree in its yard. If you were gonna break into someone's yard and climb a tree to go to their neighbor.
Okay. I take note of everything I see around the building,
Sure.
and then I get out of there.
Yeah, okay. You can meet back up with the rest and let them know what you found.
It's pretty impressive security.
Oh.
you would guess they probably have a level of magical security too.
Yeah, I would guess probably some type of magical security.
Because when they went to the museum, they remembered that the museum had magical security to it. Remember? Important buildings tend to have it. Most buildings do not have magical security because magical security is probably more difficult to get. Again, less spellcasters. They still exist.
Yeah, so we're gonna need a good plan to get inside of there.
No, we don't necessarily have to get in. We just need to know if anything's in there.
I don't want to put anyone else in danger, but if you can get someone within 30 feet of me, I can read their minds and dig around quite a bit.
He's just gonna give you a look. I don't like that, but I like that. I have very mixed feelings towards it.
A lot of people do. It's a very useful tool.
Well, you can change your face. The Selenite can't do that, and I assume they've already seen you on that security, right?
They've seen Luna, yes.
Okay.
And I would switch back into probably just my normal changeling form, just so they can get a little comfortable around it for their sake.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really weird looking form because it's like the face has absolutely no details to it.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yep.
Well, when you cast locate object, people can't tell what you're looking for, right?
No.
So why don't we just play off that you're looking for something else and we're just very lost tourists that are, which has resulted in us using magic to try and find the thing we're looking for?
I mean, again, like, it would require them to see you casting it, though, too.
And I only saw the cameras on the gate, or were there any cameras around the wall when I did a walk around?
Outside the wall, you didn't see anything. Unless they're hidden. And they would have been well hidden. I'm just going to give you that you didn't notice anything with any passives. You know, they could have been well hidden, but they could have also been inside in case someone climbed the walls, kind of thing, you know? They're more, it might be that they're more concerned with, like, outside the gate for more, you know, people actually showing up outside of it, rather than people outside the walls, because they have, like, neighbors to certain sides of the house,
Yeah.
you know? This place probably was much more rural at one point, and a city grew up around it, you know, kind of thing, as the city expanded. It was probably a big estate on the outskirts of town at one point.
So what's the plan here? Contact the guy?
Contact the guy, see about any lead safe things, lead walls.
Okay. You can get in contact with Matabe. He'll speak some common, so I'll just translate for him. Who is this? What do you want? How did you get this number?
Who's doing the talking? Have you just shoved the phone at me?
I would have assumed you because you're the one that has the contact.
Alright.
Oh,
We're-
you're muted.
What?
Well, is muted.
Oh,
Worm, you're muted.
we're,
I would have cast tongues.
Okay.
Probably also said a lot more
Oh.
other things. Dang it.
Oh no!
Oh.
I was like, I could always just walk. I could just pick someone up and drag them over to you if you need it.
Just kidnapping. I like
I
the
don't
plan.
think that flies nowadays. Maybe back home, but not here. Have you cast tongues on me?
Yes.
Okay.
Then he'd be speaking. Then I'll just kind of keep it like a normal conversation. But yes, he's speaking his language.
A mutual friend gave us this number. It seems maybe you could help us. We're the ones looking for that eye that was mentioned.
Some lost artifact from Mitsui Danjuro.
That one, yes.
What do you want to know?
How much would it cost to purchase it, if you had to guess?
From the family? As much as Mitsui gathered together many an object and many a thing, and expanded our business to be one that does global trading. A lot of his objects are well kept. Might be expensive to get it away from it. The current heads of the family are very tight-pursed. Probably overcharge you for whatever you want.
Would there be a chance of working out a trade?
With them, I wouldn't take it if I were you.
And say if an object were to go missing, how would the reaction be to that?
Our mutual friends might be called upon to bring back bring you back. Whether or not in one piece, well, they'd probably ask for something shipped ahead of time. Hands, tongues, feet.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Well, time is something that would cost you. I expect a payment in my account. I can give you some numbers. Just something a little bit to help out. If you want more information, I have plenty of dirt or information about the estates. I mean, if you're not caught, that's another thing entirely.
Would I be able to afford? Would I be able to afford any of that?
He's not asking for a lot. He's not asking.
Oh, he's not.
No, he's like, just a minor bribe for him. You guys can afford the bribes from him.
I'll give him his minor bribe out of my personal account.
Yeah.
I'll get some.
Before you go, I just thought of something. How many of you are there?
4 of us.
Four of you. Men or women?
Insight check.
Sure.
Non-natural 20. What the fuck does he imply by that? In his tone of voice.
Strippers.
No.
Is it sounding like a sinister implication in his tone?
No, it doesn't sound sinister. It sounds like a general interest in the question.
General interest.
Just a general interest. You don't feel technically anything sinister about it, but he does seem actually really interested in whether you're men and who's man and woman within your group.
3 women, 1 other.
You think you could disguise as a woman? The other one could?
Yes.
1 non-binary.
That's technically what Dox is. He doesn't.
Look,
No.
He has no concept of gender.
As for the main estate, I probably could not help you. At least not now. But you are in luck. 3 weeks from now, there's an event going on at the old estate in Hinomoto Island. As a member of the family, I have an invite. And I could bring I'm not necessarily known for my status in the family. So perhaps a group of girlfriends could accompany me.
I'll have to talk it over with the others, but the possibility exists.
Of course, I would not expect anything actually girlfriend related, and I would rather expect you to give me a little bit more. He'll give you a number which it's like 4 times the amount. It's probably reasonable, and a lot of you together could pay for it, definitely. Or it'd get you your connections to pay for it. I would expect that amount into my account, but then I would get you in with the family. If you would be able to ingratiate, at least one of you would be able to ingratiate yourself with the head of the family, well, or there's much less security at that location. If something would go missing from one of the guests, well, you know, if it's there, maybe you'll get lucky. Or again, if it's not there, you could perhaps ingratiate yourself with the main family. Find a much better deal for yourselves for your item, if it is in the main estate.
You'll get your pay, and perhaps you'll hear from us again.
Excellent. He'll hang up from you.
Fuck's sake.
You have an invite to a creepy estate in the middle of the forest.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like.
I'm just gonna relay
I feel like
all
I
that.
would raise more eyebrows than I would help in that
I'm
situation.
gonna relay all that info.
You keep the attention away from whoever's stealing shit.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
This is distraction.
It's like you
Yeah,
brought your
Priscilla-
harem of girlfriends, which include a person.
Well, just
It's
forget
a-
the
it's-
Priscilla push-up bra.
Yeah.
She looked great.
Little
You'd
makeup,
all
I'll
be,
never
you'd all
notice
be
the difference.
technically foreigners, so they might also think you're like, he just picked a bunch of like prostitutes up from like the
Yeah, I
local
was gonna
like
say we're gonna look like
the,
escorts.
the local escort club, you know, just to piss off the family, you know.
Fair.
And we'll give him his money.
Yeah, he totally is the guy that has the connections to like gangsters in the part of the family that's not
Oh,
really probably
boy.
respected. You have to.
No.
He probably doesn't care that much. He's probably like, I'll just take a paycheck. You know, it's.
Yeah.
I'm a minor corporate employee that's just treated like probably crap in the family.
There are certain things Docs is and isn't above, and this may be one of them.
Well,
I mean, the rest of us literally serve drinks in a brothel.
yes.
It's specifically a brothel of tall women and short customers.
I mean, it's more that, well,
It's
So-
strip
yeah,
club,
makes
strip
sense.
club / brothel. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more that maybe Docs isn't the most comfortable lying about being a woman for that kind of act, if that would happen. I mean, he's evil, but he's got standards.
He's got standards of evil.
Also, he's like, doesn't like women that much.
Perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're in a group full of women.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
No flirting happening here.
Nope.
If you find a cute orc, maybe there will be some flirting, but
Yo, my backup character is Laura Craft Orc, so...
god damn it.
Have you ever seen the picture of Laura Craft?